one more, got another good day up in front of us, I hope, of practice, and then we got to get on a plane and go to Kansas and play a Kansas team that has been in every game they've been in here lately, just playing at a really high level, scoring the ball a bunch. They actually lost one of their starters that was averaging 11 points a game. At the time, they were averaging 70 points a game in conference. They lose 11 points a game, and they have now backed that up with 98 and 82 points. So in coaching, we call that addition by subtraction sometimes. And, they're really playing well, scoring it well. We obviously had a hard time with them when we played them here. And they really hurt us quite a bit on some easy stuff. When I say easy, it's, they hurt us in getting to the rim, getting to the paint. And so we've got our hands full going up there. We've been a team that's obviously handled the road sometimes not. And so we've got to go up there really focused defensively. As I just said a minute ago, we're not a team that's going to win the 90 to 88 battles. We've got to go in there and lock in and guard. And that's true for every night for us. We've got to lock in and really do a great job defensively and maybe create some offense off our defense. And so, we had a good workout yesterday, quick and crisp. 3 games in 7 days creates a time issue, practice-wise, film-wise, strength training. I mean, it really puts a cramp on what we can do each day. So we've got to be really efficient in our time. And I thought yesterday we did a fairly good job of that. So, again, excited about seeing our kids play again. I always am. We seem to be getting better in some areas. And I think we have certain players that are getting better. Like, Charlie to me has really improved defensively. She's a better helper. She understands her ability to block shots. And we need her to be a great help defender because typically she's our last line of defense down there when we get beat off the bounce with dribble penetration. The other key, I think, for us defensively is just having Audrey back in our lineup with some consistency. She'd been in and out of the lineup, missing 2 and 3 weeks at a time, a couple different times during the season. So trying to keep her in the lineup every day, I think, really helps us defensively because she's that tough, physical, aggressive player that we really, really need. And I think when you have that person, it kind of spreads to the rest of your team. I think Celeste has improved defensively. I think Kyra Lambert's improved defensively. I think she's really learned the importance of ball pressure and trying to create some issues out there at point or whoever she's guarding. So I just think we're getting better. We're making strides. And again, I said this all year long, defense is usually the last piece that you get. That's your chemistry. It takes great chemistry. You all got to be connected. And, nothing's changed. We still don't shoot it well. And we got to continue to work on that. And, a friend of mine told me the other day, yeah, you may not, but there's going to be a game coming up where you guys are going to blow up and shoot it well. And man, I'm holding my breath, hoping that day's tomorrow. So, we'll keep working on it. And I think you see us sharing the ball great. I mean, you see us whipping that ball around the perimeter against the zone, and we do a great job of that. We're really good at that. We see that next person that's open really well. We just got to knock down shots.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go ahead and start with Roger.
Hey, Vic, you talked about the shooting when you can have flurries like you did with the pressure and the defense. I imagine that's a really important part of your attack to get some easy buckets like you did on Sunday.
It's critical, Roger. I mean, that kind of got us. Really, it kind of got us the lead, and then we kind of hung around and hung on to it the rest of the game. But that little stretch in the second quarter, and Ashley had a lot to do with that. She came off the bench and really created some issues for their point guard, and I just thought her whole energy level kind of made everybody else step it up. I spent the whole first quarter coaching our heart the other night, which I don't like to do. I don't want to coach your heart. I want to coach your mind. But this felt like we were still frozen. We were still dealing with 4 days of no practice, and we had 2 days of practice, and we were standing around in the cold. And just every time out was a pleading case to get them to play a little bit harder. And I thought she came in and kind of changed the whole complexion of the game and got everybody going. Her and then Celeste got in the act, and next thing you know, we had a little run there. We score 8 points in about 50 seconds or something like that, maybe 6 and 35. And again, that's my vision for this team, y'all. When there's 10,000 people in the arena, this sounds like 100,000. When you're doing that, you're getting a steal, laying it in, getting another steal, laying it in. That's that's when it's fun.
And can I ask about Audrey? How unique of a player is she? I know you want to keep her off the floor, but her game's kind of her game. How do you kind of manage that?
Yeah, you're talking about keeping her off the floor as in keeping her from getting hurt.
Yes.
I need her taking charges and on the
Well,
floor.
yeah.
But I know what you mean. I got you. It's critical. She's in foul trouble at Baylor. She fouled out the other night. But that's just how hard the kid plays. But again, I think she's still got a little rust. I mean, she only played 16 games a year ago. And then she's been in and out all year long. It's just hard to develop any kind of consistency with your game when you don't know from one day to the next if you're going to be around or not. And it's hard on our team. So, there's a big difference in her athleticism, her toughness, her quickness, and the next person that might have to play that position. I think everybody provides a different, unique perspective to what they give to the team, but I need that from her. Our team needs that from her on the floor. So we've got to continue to be careful in practice, and then in games, you got to turn her loose. She's my bull in the china cabinet.
Danny, go ahead.
Vic, you just mentioned Ashley. At this point of the season, what is the biggest difference and, I guess, closest similarities between her and Kyra? Is it just a experience thing, or are they two different kind of point guards for you?
I certainly think experience plays a part of it, Danny. I think offensively, maybe Kyra's a little bit more consistent, especially shooting the 3 ball. The other night, Ashley had 3 assists, no turnovers, and 2 rebounds. That's what we need from her, and sometimes I think she tries too hard, which you always want kids that want to please and want to try. But sometimes just taking care of the ball and getting that ball to our scorers and to the people where they need it is your job as the point guard. So certainly experience is a part of it, but I also think you got to be effective and you got to be productive. And, Kyra's assist to turnover ratio is 3-1, and it was 4-1 at one time. So, I think that's hard. It's hard to take her off the floor, and she's playing better defensively for us. She took a charge the other night, if I'm not mistaken.
And then to follow up on Kyra really quick, we've asked you this question a few times about Charlie and Charlie's future, but have you guys had those discussions with Kyra about possibly using this blanket year of eligibility, or is she maybe thinking that 6 years is enough and ready to move on after this year?
Yeah, we've had some vague discussions, but she's been through a lot, obviously, and she wants to coach. She's been accepted into the So You Want to Be a Coach program at the Final Four, which we're ecstatic about. And I talk to her in those terms, Danny. I tell her, every now and then in a day, I'll tell her, hey, so when you get your team, what are you going to do when you got your point guard doing this? Or what are you going to do when you got a teammate, one of your players, and they're this way? So I try to talk to her because, she is going to be a coach. She's going to be a good coach. And I want her to kind of start thinking that way.
John Harry, go ahead.
Coach, what do you like about the way you guys finished against Kansas State, and how do you use that moving forward in these last few games?
Well, I loved how we made some big shots down the stretch. Had some kids step up. Joe made some big shots for us down the stretch. Then she had a great assist to Charlie. Held them to 49 points, which I really like as well. I thought defensively, they threw in a couple off the glass that they were crazy makes, but I mean, you gotta, again, those kids can make shots. So, but I really thought offensively, we made some big shots down the stretch that we needed to make.
And where would you say your team's confidence level is at this point going into this last stretch?
Well, I think our kids are confident. You know, and again, you want your team to be confident. At the same time, you want them to respect your opponent, stay humble, and stay hungry. And you can't get too high after a win, and you can't get too low after a loss. And you know, they are kids. They are young. They're immature, and they're inexperienced. That hasn't changed. It's just our team this year. So, you know, it's my job to make sure we stay grounded, we stay humble, we stay hungry. At the same time, try to build some confidence in them, because, you know, we got to make shots. We're getting good looks, and you know, we've got to get in the gym, and we got to work on our game, work on our craft.
Bob, go ahead.
Vic, as you come into this final stretch of 4 games, what's the one thing you've got to have out of your team to put themselves on the right trajectory going into the postseason? Is there one thing you always look for, or is it specific with this team that you know you've got to have if they're going to make any kind of run in the postseason?
Yeah, we have to defend, Bob. I mean, we're just not going to win the shootouts. You know, we've got to guard and defend. And then, as I told the team the other day, certain players have to perform at a certain level every night. And it's not just one. We have to have certain players that have to do certain things every night, or we won't win. It's just the way it is. We're too young and too inexperienced coming off the bench. So it's not like we've got somebody over there that's going to come off and get 15, you know, or 8. You know, 15 and 8. We don't have that. You know, it's just a really important that we have certain players that do their job every night. We got 4 games left in the regular season. We are on a business trip starting today. You know, not interested in touring Lawrence. We're going up there to visit no one. We're going up there to win a game. And I want our mentality to be that way from today at practice to getting on the bus, to getting on the plane, to getting off, everything we do. We've got to have a real locked in mindset, because we're going to be playing a good team. I mean, they probably could have won 4 to 5 more games in conference here lately where they had big leads or significant leads in the fourth quarter and couldn't hold on. So we've got to do a good job. And again, 98 points. Are you kidding me? 82 points. That's a lot of offense, y'all. So we're going to have to be really good. But I think that's the biggest thing for us, Bob.
There's not much to see in Lawrence or Kansas in general, so you don't have to worry about that.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Long term, what do you want to be able to win both ways? Is your goal to, because you talk about winning those 90 to 88 games, what is that long-term goal look like, especially knowing what you already have in the program?
Yeah, I mean, long-term, you want guards that can run the floor and shoot the 3 in transition. You know, if they're open, man, knock it down. You want guards that can push it, a point guard that can really push it and find those people. Kyra likes to run, and she found, Celeste the other night a couple times, and so, but you got to have that, and then you got to have bigs that can run the floor as well and do their job. If they can get an early pin, get an early pin. If you're one-on-one rebounding one of those bigs, one of those long threes, you're going to get the rebound. You pursue the basketball. So, for us, it's about having kids that can spread the floor. And if you don't guard one of them, they're going to kill you. They're going to beat you. And so I think, for us, I think we have kids that can do that. We're just not shooting it well. And, at the same time, I know we've got some help coming that it's going to be able to do that. So, for us, that's when it's fun. And at the same time, turn around and be able to defend like we want to defend. You can't just be somebody can shoot it and can't guard anybody.
Got one last one. Danny, go ahead.
Vic, we asked Celeste about this on Sunday, and we were talking about the press defense, and she said at this point she's almost kind of surprised when you say don't press, and you guys are, meeting them at the half court. Yeah, I'm wondering, as a coach who, that's obviously kind of your bread and butter, how much does it kind of drive you nuts when you have to pull back, and how are you balancing, those decisions to, go full court and, pull back and, not be that aggressive?
Yeah, it's hard. I tell you, Danny, what's great about this group is, they'll fight me on it sometimes. If I'll ask them, I'll say, okay, what do y'all want to do? They're like, Coach, we're pressing, and that's when you're winning the battle. When you got kids that are bought in, and they realize what's our bread and butter, what's going to work for us, what's going to help us win. That's when you're winning. And, we've had those conversations. We didn't press Oklahoma State because they're hard to press. I mean, I've been doing it long enough. I'm not going to beat my head in the wall, or I'm not going to sit over there for 2 hours and complain when their guards are really good. And so, we didn't do it that night. Obviously we pressed Kansas State, and we pressed them. We've had other teams that we've pressed throughout the season. So you just have to know who you can and who you can't, and sometimes you have to spot it. And we spotted it against Baylor, not a lot, but a little bit. Again, on the road, foul trouble, personnel, all that comes into play. But I love it when they're like, Coach, let's go. We're good. Don't worry about us. We'll get through the game and we'll rest the next day. That's when you're winning the battle, and I love that about these kids.
Safe travels to Kansas, Coach. Thanks for your time.
All right, praise the Lord and hook 'em horns.